The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
And we're live. All right. Good for us. I mean, yeah. Anyway, more on that in a second. Welcome to No Credentials Required. Sorry, my sister's just walking in the door.
Hey.
It threw me off a little bit. Welcome to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the hosts. To my right is a man who shut down Twitter yesterday. How dare you, sir? Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are you doing today?
I'm sorry. There was just too much breaking news, and not in the way that you might think. What was my breaking news that I was shut down Twitter about? We'll keep that a mystery. But the NFL,
you launched your OnlyPans account, didn't you?
Oh man. I'm not that great of a cook, and I don't think I have engaging enough eyes for people to be following me. But I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right tonight. I'm excited to get into it with you. The NFL has been en fuego the last couple days. So here we go. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing all right. I had a little something to do this afternoon, which delayed our recording for about 45 minutes, which is fine, but I got a story to share about that. Probably share it after we take care of business. But before we get into everything, I'm talking about the NFL free agency period, which started yesterday, which seemingly shut down Twitter, but it really wasn't. It was a bunch of idiot kids. We'll also talk about the Yankees. Gerrit Cole is going for Tommy John surgery, so we're going to talk about the ramifications of that.
Yeah. And
we're going to reveal our favorite athletes to ever wear the number 18. But before we do that, just want to take care of some business. And we ask you to follow us. Follow us on social media. Sorry, I had to cough there. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, all the other stuff is at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast wherever you find podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, and Pandora. And also, don't forget to get notified on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when the live show goes up, when announcements go up. Our OV Goal Watch 2025 counter, he's 9 goals away now. He's 9 goals away from breaking Gretzky's record. Yes, he scored another empty netter the other night. They don't ask how.
No.
Just ask how many. So get your picks in. A goal is a goal, exactly. Get your picks in, folks, on social media. We'll post that again, just so we have more than one entry.
Yeah, please. If you haven't picked yet, pick. You got nothing to lose. You get to witness a little history, and you get a shot at a nice little gift box, which, if I understand it, Ryan, it includes not only a bag of Invader coffee, not only a No Credentials Required t-shirt. That's right. We do have merch, people, but it also includes some Righteous Felon beef jerky. But if they guess it right on the nose, Ryan, you have a bonus surprise, which you've been I don't even know, people. So
I don't even know you either. But there's a bonus prize involved. You want to get in that as soon as possible. On the podcast side, rate, review, comment. Give us a 5-star rating on the podcast side. On the audio side, review the podcast wherever you review podcasts, and also on Spotify. Leave us a comment. We'll read every review. We'll read every comment. We'll also just want to remind you, if you're watching the replay on Belly Up Sports on the YouTube channel for Belly Up Sports, leave us a comment there. Watch us live on Tuesdays. We're usually on at 6:30, but again, have some personal stuff to take care of. And also on Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern for the Saturday brunch edition, which will go on through the spring and summer before we resume our NFL madness. But in the meantime, we are a live show. Again, we are live Tuesdays. And we've got some comments in the comment section already. Just want to remind you, like, throw a comment in there. Throw a comment in there if you just have a thought, you just have a question. Throw a comment in there, and I've been waiting for this sound for the last couple of days, Dustin. You know what time it is.
It's a little later than normal, but I believe it's chime time.
It's daylight savings. Still an hour. Push us an hour ahead, but yes, it is indeed chime time. And we got Kevin joining us saying, Dustin, tell us about Darnold. We'll get to that. Julie from Michigan saying, hello, gentlemen. Hello to you, Julie. And Snowman jumping in and yelling, sports ball. So he is live and in effect tonight. So, yeah, we're going to start. It's the show episode is entitled, Gaz is checking in saying, hi. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
He had a cute picture with his oldest son the other day. His oldest son joined him on a call for an event. And he also asked, could this be the sexiest episode of 2025?
Oh, man. Well, if you're talking about NFL news, I should have started humming Careless Whisper during that. I'm sorry, Ryan. I failed you. But
right.
If you're talking NFL news, guys, yes, it will be the sexiest episode of 2025 because we have a lot to discuss. So so that we pivoted from our original plans for tonight. So
that's right, we did. We'll see that for Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I get to bring this element back.
Oh, Joe Miller, you just found the marble in the oatmeal. You're a lucky little boy, because you know why? You get to drink from the fire hose! Okay, you ready? Open wide! Joe Miller, let's hear for him!
And because it's NFL free agency, I get to bring in this element.
I need about 350.
It's so good to have it back.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, yeah, new year for the NFL started officially on Monday. And free agency, at least a tampering period. So this is a tampering period. All contracts are not effective until, I believe, Thursday. So that being said, we've got all sorts of news, all sorts of player movement, all sort of It's crazy. It's crazy. So let's go ahead and start off with some of the more notable signings. And Dustin, I'm going to start with your team. Seattle Seahawks.
Oh my goodness.
As Kevin wrote, Dustin, tell us about Sam Darnold.
Well, here's the thing. So I got to preface this a little bit. Mr. Wilson and I, we're both on Seahawks sessions. You know, we like to bring in Mr. Wilson, especially for the big news. And, Kevin and I, Mr. Smooth asked us, hey, is this a rebuild or a retool? And I think Kevin and I both were saying this is a rebuild, and we don't understand why, because it's a 10-win team from last year. 10-win team, and we were both, very pessimistic. You got to keep in mind we did the show right after news of the Geno trade broke. So our emotions were raw here, but now upon a few more days to reflect, they got to load up on wide receivers now because their room, once one of the pluses of their team, wide out, Jake Bobo is probably their projected wide out number 2 right now on the roster. It's JSN, Jake Bobo, and some parts. So here's the thing. examining the team a couple of days later, they're clearly gearing up for something because they had negative cap space heading into the beginning of this offseason. They cleared enough cap space to have the 7th most free cap space in the league as of a few days ago. And then they traded Geno. They have now 13 picks. One Staniel Smooth, the captain of Seahawks Sessions, he let us know that they got some compensatory picks as well. So they now have a total of 13 picks with some of the trades that they've made. Yes, Geno Smith is no longer the quarterback. Also, DK Metcalf is gone for a 2nd-round pick to the Steelers. Tyler Lockett has been released. So the team is definitely looking different, especially on offense. Now, they re-signed Ernest Jones, a piece of their defense that came in and played very well after he was traded to the Seahawks last year. But the big change is they go in and they go get Sam Darnold. As soon as the Geno trade was completed, the news was that they had their eye on Sam Darnold. Initially, I was not happy with this news because other than age, I did not think he was that much of a significant upgrade over Geno. Age-wise, it's good. You know, they paid, I think it was $100 million for 3 years. I think that was the deal. You and I were putting a lot of stuff in the Discord, Ryan, so I can't but a couple days later now, or a day later or so, a day later, I feel a little bit better about the news. But the only thing I was worried about is sometimes I can be a data person. I can be a hard numbers guy. And we have more data that proves that Sam Darnold is a certain caliber of quarterback rather than the data that proves that he is the rebuilt quarterback that we saw in Minnesota last year. And the bloom did come off the rose a little bit in the playoffs. But if Sam Darnold can be the quarterback that he was for the Minnesota Vikings, this is a positive move. However, the Seahawks are going to have to upgrade their offensive line because I feel that Geno was a little more mobile than people gave him credit for. But hopefully Sam Darnold, the one thing where Geno really struggled was red zone interceptions. So it'll be interesting to see if Sam Darnold can kind of get that under control. But it's clear that Mike McDonald and John Schneider are trying to put their imprint on this team. And I think divorcing themselves from the last remnants of the Carroll era, I think they are trying to aggressively reshape this team. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with the cap space and the picks. If they don't use these picks wisely, they're going to have a hard time convincing fans that this is not convincing fans that this isn't a full rebuild. That's how I felt initially after Seahawks Sessions on Friday. And the asking price for DK Metcalf tumbled. We discussed whether he was going to get an extension. The Seahawks were reportedly asking for a 1st and a 3rd round pick. They ended up getting a 2nd round pick for DK from the Steelers. So the asking price went down a little bit. The Seahawks came back to earth on that. And, apparently Metcalf is going to get extended as part of the deal, but lots of changes to the offense in Seattle. The defense was rebuilt a little bit last year, and it was on its way up. And it'll be interesting to see what these new changes bring to the offense. But they have a lot of picks, and I hope they have a plan to do something with them. Sam Darnold, I hope he is the quarterback that he was for the Vikings last season. This could be a good move if he is.
Yeah, I will say, as a Jets fan who watched Sam Darnold for 2 seasons, 3 seasons, 3 seasons.
Yeah.
He's better when he rolls out of the pocket. And I don't know,
Okay.
I didn't watch enough of the Vikings last year to see what he did. If he was in the pocket more, if Kevin O'Connell created a strategy to get him in the state, have him stay in the pocket. But from what I saw as a Jets fan, he was much better rolling out of the pocket, which means he can get outside, look for his intended receiver, look for his first wide receiver pick, but he has trouble with progression. So
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe he's grown in the time the 3 seasons he's been outside of the Jets sphere of influence. He had one season in Carolina,
Yeah.
1 season in San Francisco, then a season in Minnesota. And hey, Seattle's doing due diligence. If they did their due diligence, they can do a lot with him. Now, who's he going to throw to? Like you
Yeah.
said, I don't know. DK Metcalf is gone. Lockett is gone. It seems like Bobo is the only really true veteran in the locker room right now. But
he's not even a vet. Bobo is still a relatively young player, but I think if I'm remembering the roster right, and Kevin, you can correct me, but I think Bobo is the projected, as it stands, he's probably the projected number 2 wideout next to JSN. And JSN thrived last year in the slot. They moved him to the slot and he took off, in part because DK Metcalf was drawing a lot of double teams. So this is tough. Tyler Lockett was the 3rd string receiver last year. This elevates, in my opinion, it's Bobo. Bobo has had a couple seasons now where he's done well in training camp and the preseason, but he's been used sparingly in the regular season, even though he became a fan favorite. So I don't know. They got to get some targets. They got to get some targets for Sam for sure.
One notable name that I'm seeing on the big board, according to tankathon.com, and right now, we're seeing it right now in real time with the draft order, the Seahawks are 18th. They're picking 18, and the number 23. He's number 3 in the wide receivers rankings. He's number 23 overall. One guy I'm looking at is Matthew Golden from Texas. That's one guy I'm looking at. Another guy I'm looking at is Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. So it's going to be interesting to see who your guys, who your Seahawks and John Schneider have in mind in terms of their draft pick. And also, don't forget, there's some free agent wide receivers out there too that they can still go after here. So, if I'm taking, let's take a look at Spot Track real quick to see who's out there and for free agents.
Yeah, I mean,
possibly pick up.
They're gearing up to do something for sure. You don't clear that much cap space unless you're looking to do something. But and they have enough picks now too. It's 13 total, I believe. They could trade a few of those picks to try to get some skill at the position. So you never know. But I think I'm trying to say Robert Woods is out there. I'm trying to think of who else off the top of my head is out there. I was hoping against hope that Devontae Adams would be out there, but he is not. We will get to that in short order, I imagine. But we also should address your team, Ryan, because a couple notable moves happened as well for you, and I got your thoughts very quickly on one of them in the Discord, but so
I had to do some reevaluation because on Saturday, I think it was either Saturday or last Tuesday, I was talking about Justin Fields, and I said, his favorite target is the ground, and I'm being unfair because the kid's been this is his 3rd team, since he went in the league, since he came into the league in 2021. This is also his 4th coach. Because he had Matt Nagy to start out with. That brings you back. It also gives you nightmares if you're a Bears fan. Then he had the wondrous Matt Eberflus. Who was fired after the Detroit game last year.
Coach Flus.
Coach Flus.
Eberfludini, as we call them.
Gets traded to Pittsburgh for a bag of chips and a 6th round pick. Actually starts out pretty well in Pittsburgh. He goes 4-2. Gets benched. Russell Wilson takes over. And I guess you could say revitalizes that offense. I guess you could say, but the last 4 weeks of the season, including going into the playoffs, the Steelers fell flat. And
they did,
as of right now, they have really nobody in their quarterback room, Pittsburgh. Russell Wilson's a free agent.
Yep.
Justin Fields signed with the Jets,
Mm-hmm.
and which was funny because Justin Fields goes 4-2, gets benched. Steelers want to bring him back, but for less money. And he totally pulled a Cody Rhodes to the Rock on them. Hey, Rock! I won't say the rest because it's a family show.
Yeah, that was on Netflix. You couldn't do that on networks, but now you can do it.
That was on Peacock, my friend.
It was on Peacock.
Yep. So yeah, Justin Fields has announced he's 2 years, $40 million. I believe it's 30 million guaranteed. 2 years, $40 million, $30 million guaranteed. And I said to myself, I shouldn't judge harshly this guy because of the stuff he's been through the last 3 years. So with basically entire career, that draft class of 2021 is cursed. I swear. Because Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Josh Rosen, who's no longer in the league, and Trevor Lawrence, who's had an okay career so far, but not the world breaker we thought he was going to be.
Yeah. I don't know. I will admit I was kind of hoping that the Seahawks would go get Justin Fields because I liked his mobility and I've liked what he's done. I've liked what he's done a little bit. His accuracy was a bit of a problem early, but I think it's gotten better. And he had a couple of games with the Bears where he looked really good. Not just good, he looked really good, especially once they acquired the wide receiver originally on Carolina. They just gave him an extension last season. Why am I
DJ Moore?
Yeah. Once they acquired DJ Moore, Justin Fields was getting him the ball. It was crazy. But to your point, Ryan, he did struggle with accuracy. There were some games where his passing was just woeful, but he looked a little bit better this year for the Steelers. Now, the Steelers, they had that great defense to start the year, and that helped, no doubt. But Justin Fields, you can't deny the start that he led them to. So I don't know. I think it could work out in New York if they scheme around him correctly and also just design plays for him where he feels comfortable and he thrives, and also put the right talent around him. But and I think Tyrod is the right type of quarterback to mentor him if it comes down to that. Tyrod's been around. He knows what it takes to win, and Tyrod also another person who's going to push him because Tyrod's kind of gotten ever since the Chargers medical staff got him with that lung, the punctured lung. The luck hasn't been on Tyrod's side for sure.
No, it's going to be up to new offensive coordinator Tanner Engstrand, who was the passing game coordinator with the Lions the last couple seasons. He's the new offensive coordinator. So the Jets do have talent. Let's put it this way. Jets have talent. They have talent at running back.
Mm-hmm.
Breece Hall, Braylon Allen.
Yeah.
They got talent at wide receiver. Gerrit Wilson. Hey, look, Justin Fields reunites with Gerrit Wilson, which is pretty cool. They got add some other pieces because Devontae's gone.
Yep.
Looks like Aaron Lazard.
Alan Lazard.
Alan Lazard. I don't know if he's going to be a cap casualty. Some people are saying he's going to be, but others are saying he's not. He's going to stay with the team just because it's too expensive to release.
Okay.
Mike Williams was traded after the Buffalo game. He was traded to Pittsburgh, and after that, they might also need some help with tight ends. So if I'm the Jets for the draft, 7th overall pick, I'm looking at Tyler Warren from Penn State, tight end. He can not only is a great pass catcher, but he's also a fantastic blocker, from what I understand. So I think he's going to be one guy they can rely on. But the one thing that that Justin Fields has that he didn't have in Pittsburgh, he didn't have in Chicago. He's got 2 running backs who can carry the ball and take the load off of him.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what Tanner Engstrand can do to elevate Justin Fields' game. And I think giving him not only 1 but 2 options in the backfield it's just going to help out. It's just going to help a whole lot.
Yeah. I mean, the Jets, if they can get the ball into there, the Jets will be scary in the red zone next year when you get to the goal line, because you got 3 bona fide options that can just take the ball and run it in there now.
Yeah.
You could start doing some creative option plays a la Lamar and Derrick Henry. I mean, look how that worked out for the Ravens last year. I am in no way comparing the Jets to the Ravens. I realize it's different offenses, different schemes, different talent, different personnel. But you could see similar packages and plays being implemented. The defenses will have to focus in on Fields and both the running backs. Who's going to get it? Is it Brees? Is it Allen? Is it Fields? You won't know.
Yeah. Now here's the craziest part. I was looking at Pro Football Reference. Did you know that Justin Fields finished 9th in MVP voting in 2022?
I did not know that.
Yes. So here's the stat line for passing. And you're talking about his accuracy. He had a 65.8 completion percentage last year.
Okay,
in those 6 games he started. So not terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So his stat line in 2022, he had 2,242 yards, 17 touchdowns passing. Rushing.
He was a man.
1,143 yards and 8 touchdowns. And he finished 9th in MVP voting in the AP and the Associated Press MVP voting for the NFL team MVP award. So crazy.
Yeah. And I will say I'm openly rooting for him. I hope he succeeds,
Yeah,
because I feel like he's had a sputtering start.
He has, like I said, 3 different coaches and 3 seasons that he's had. 2021 started with Matt Nagy, 2022 and 2023 had Matt Eberflus, 2024 Mike Tomlin, and had Arthur Smith as his offensive coordinator. I remember talking to my friend, to a really good friend of mine. He's a Steelers fan. He said, "You realize if Matt Canada had stayed the offensive coordinator with the Steelers, the season that either Justin Fields or Russell Wilson could have had?" I go, the fans ran him out of town.
Yeah, they really did not like Matt Canada.
They did not. Before we move on to more free agency news, Julie from Michigan saying, "I see that Detroit shirt." That's Hobbs, by the way, not the actual Detroit Tiger. So if you're looking for the latest draft NFL free agency news, we actually Nate Nguyen of Corner Booth and producer for Corner Booth and co-host of the 3rd and 10 podcast on Belly Up Sports. He's actually put together a daily free agency tracker. So check it out on bellyupsports.com. We're going to go over some of the notable free agency signings. As we continue along, we react to them. A couple of notable quarterback names. We talked about Sam Darnold, Geno Smith being traded to the Raiders. Zach Wilson is now a Miami Dolphin.
I saw that.
Jimmy G stays with the Rams. Ladies, check your pantries. And Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones.
I know.
Daniel Jones is an Indianapolis Colt.
Man,
for 1 year, $14 million.
Yeah, and he's gonna have a chance. He's gonna have a chance to pick to push.
Anthony
Richardson. Yeah, he's gonna have a chance to push him because Anthony Richardson, at times he's looked like a world beater, and then at other times it looks like he's got a few things to figure out about being on the field. So Daniel Jones has a shot. Also with Anthony Richardson's injury history, the way he plays, I think this signing makes sense for Daniel Jones. And will he be able to rehabilitate himself a little bit? Who knows? Who knows?
And Kevin Wilson saying there should be no further mentions of Zach Wilson. Look, I just told him the news, Kevin, okay?
Yeah.
I'm sure he didn't mean to shame the family name. I mean, come on, give him some slack. By the way, good luck, Dolphins. Yeah. So on the running back side, the one notable signing, Najee Harris.
Yeah, this.
Pittsburgh did not exercise his 5th-year rookie option. They let him walk to the Chargers for 1 year and $8 million.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say this doesn't surprise me because I always felt like the Pittsburgh Steelers really liked Jaylen Warren. They seem to go to him in some key moments at times when especially last season Najee kind of rebounded before that, but the season before that was a little rough. And I would hear reports every now and again that they really like Jaylen Warren, and I guess it's true because now he's got his shot. And I think this signing makes sense for the Chargers. This is a Harbaugh signing. Najee's a power back. He's going to try to ram it in the goal line. He's a classic north-south runner. I think this makes sense for sure.
Yeah. Continuing on with wide receivers, the one notable name to really move was Joshua Palmer, formerly of the aforementioned Los Angeles Chargers. He signs with the Bills, 3 years, $36 million. Interesting move there.
Yeah.
Considering that the Bills had extended Josh Allen a couple days before with a 3-year extension.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they restructured it. I mean, I haven't watched enough of. I mean, we've seen them at times when there were injuries on the Chargers and stuff, and but if I remember correctly, this guy's a deep threat, right? He can extend. He can go down the field a little bit and get the ball. Can he? I believe that was his game for the Chargers, but I'm trying to remember here. The Chargers apparently were in on the DK Metcalf sweepstakes. They wanted him, but they did not win. Also, side note, that Steelers wide receiver room is going to be interesting next season with old George Pickens on one side and DK on the other. It could be volatile. And then you had correctly pointed out, I forgot about it. Mike Williams is there too. So, wow.
I'm looking at Josh Palmer's stats. He's not a starter. I mean, he hasn't started all 17 games yet. Almost said 18. So his career stats, 17 games in 2021, 5 starts. 2022 is kind of his breakout season. He had 11 starts, 16 games, 72 receptions for 769 yards. So averaging 10.7 yards per catch.
Okay.
2023 kind of fell off a little bit, played only 10 games, had 6 starts, 581 yards, 2 touchdowns. Last year, again, 15 games, 7 starts, 39 receptions, 584 yards. But if he can excel in Buffalo's offense with Joe Brady as offensive coordinator, Buffalo's going to be a dangerous team once again.
Yeah. Yeah, they could because they still have Amari Cooper there. I believe he didn't move. Now, Amari Cooper, I think it didn't work out exactly the way the Bills hoped when they acquired him, but now he and Josh Allen get a off season to figure it out. They get camps, they get mini camps, they get training camp, they get the preseason. So I think Amari Cooper is going to rebound a little bit in that offense next year, and it could be. They're going to be something. They're going to be something if they can get some running back depth behind James Cook. The Bills, I doubted them last year a little bit, and I won't make that mistake again.
So right now, Amari Cooper is a free agent.
Okay, so they didn't re-sign him yet.
They have not re-signed him, so he's still out there. He's going to be out there for a bit. Maybe he's a target for the Seahawks.
Maybe.
Maybe
I mean, he's getting up there now a little bit. The Raiders drafted him when he was very, very young, so that's why it seems like he's been around forever. But he's not going to command the kind of money that he once got from the Cowboys because Jerry likes to give people money. We all know that.
No, Amari Cooper is 30 years old.
Okay.
31 going into training camp if somebody picks him. Another notable pick, Devontae Adams to the Rams, 2 years, $48 million. So that's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that. He's going to be out wide. With Juju Atwell at the other side and Puka Nacua in the slot.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting to see what the Rams can get back for Cooper Kupp now. Because
and also
they've already told him we're going to deal you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And also Tyler Higbee. You forgot how big a part of the Rams offense he was when healthy because he returned late last year. I mean, Playmaker's going to like to hear this, but as far as I'm concerned, the Devontae Adams move, great move with Stafford returning. The division is the Rams this year so far. I'm calling it for the Rams right now. We'll see. It's early in the offseason. We'll see what other teams do. We'll see how my Seahawks draft. We'll see what the Cardinals do, everything. And the 49ers, they're going to retool. But the Rams, I like what they're doing this offseason so far. So that might be one of the only times you hear it, Playmaker. So I hope you're listening.
Now, there have been some the most movement has been on the offensive line and the defensive line. So let's talk about this for a moment.
Yeah.
Patrick McCarthy, formerly of the Ravens, he's now a Jaguar. Morgan Moses from my Jets to the Patriots. James Hudson II to the Giants. I forgot who he played last year. Let's see who else. Will Freeze formerly of the Colts to the Vikings. Let's see who else. Drew Dahlman to the Bears. They're
the
showing
Bears
up that line for Caleb Williams.
Yep, that's what they're going to do. How much pressure do you think this puts on Caleb Williams now? Because they're going to say, "We're upgrading your protection."
Yep, there's no more excuses now. No more excuses, and it's 2 years in, so it's their second year. We know you've shown flashes. Now it's time. Now it's up to you. We've got your protection.
Yep.
It's up to you now.
Yep.
Now this wasn't so much signing as much as it was a trade. The Texans.
This one shocked me. This one really shocked me.
The Texans trade Laramie Tunsil. All world tackle as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
They trade him in the 4th rounder to the Commanders for a 3rd round pick, a 7th round pick, plus a 2026 2nd and 4th rounder. Commanders, they're doing some work in the offseason. They're not messing around. They don't want that window. They want that championship window to stay open. And they're doing their best to do it. Good on them.
Yeah, D. Willie's got to be happy about that.
Absolutely. On the defensive side of the ball, tons of movement on the defensive side of the ball. Hassan Reddick to the Buccaneers, 1 year, $14 million. See you later.
Yeah, that was the one I asked you about in the Discord.
Good luck. The Eagles are starting to lose some players. Josh Sweat to the Cardinals, 4 years, $76 million. Milton Williams to the Patriots, 4 years, 26. It says 26 mil, but I think it was more than that. Let me just double check here.
All right.
For Milton Williams.
All right. And then I believe CJ Gardner to the Texans as well. I believe is one of them. I wanted to ask you about this, so I'm glad that we got into it now because that Eagle defense, you could say the only team that has lost more would be the Lions coaching staff. The Lions coaching staff got poached about as much as the Eagles defense, but after a performance like that in the Super Bowl, you knew it was going to happen. You can't re-sign everybody, and some people were going to go for the money.
So Nate, you've got some editing to do, my friend, because Milton Williams signed with the Patriots 4 years, $104 million, $63 million guaranteed.
Oh man!
So this season, Milton Williams and Josh Sweat. This got this season and the Super Bowl got them paid.
Oh yeah.
Got
Yeah.
them paid. Puna Ford to the Rams, 3 years, $29.8 million. Chase Young re-signs with the Saints, 9 years, 1 year, $9.2 million. Jonathan Allen, released by the aforementioned Commanders, goes to the Vikings for 3 years, $60 million. Leonard Floyd to the Falcons, 1 year, $10 million. Javon Kinlaw, I don't get this contract. Javon Kinlaw did not have a stellar year with the New York Jets. However, he was rewarded by the Commanders with a 3-year, $45 million contract.
Man. Well, they have all that cap space, Ryan. What were they, like second or third in cap space? I guess it is their want to use it how they see fit.
I understand that, but I mean, just judging on what happened last year with Javon Kinlaw being brought in for the Jets, and I wasn't impressed. All right, linebackers now. Khalil Mack remains with the Chargers for 1 year, $18 million. Divine Diablo from the Raiders goes from the Raiders to the Falcons, 2 years, $14 million. Dre Greenlaw, once a 49er, is now a Bronco. 3 years, $35 million. And we go to the defensive backs. J.C. Horn. And this is pretty big. If you're a Panthers fan, you got to be pleased about this.
Yeah.
J.C. Horn remains with the Panthers. 4 years, $100 million extension.
I like the deal. You got to give it to he's one of your young defensive stars. I mean, so I like Carolina trying to hang on to him here for their team. They haven't had a lot to root for if you're a Panthers fan in the last couple of seasons, but you got to be happy about the way that the team kind of rebounded at the end of the season. Seemed like they started to find themselves as long as they make the right moves. Although they had that young running back who he was finally going to get into the game. He got injured late last season, so it'll be interesting to see if he comes back healthy.
Some more notable names to go. Carlton Davis going from Detroit to the Patriots, 3 years, $18 million. DJ Reed from my New York Jets signs with the Lions, 3 years, $48 million. But that's okay. Jets made it up with getting Brandon Stevens from the Ravens, 3 years, $36 million. Charvarius Ward moves to Indiana to become a Colt, 3 years, up to $60 million. And Nate Hobbs goes to the Packers, 4 years, $48 million. As for safeties, Dustin mentioned C.J. Gardner-Johnson traded to the Texans for Kenyon Green and a 2026 fifth rounder. Let's see who else. Andre Cisco. He's not going to want to see your thong, but he is going to play with the Jets next year. 1 year, $10 million. And Javon Holland, now a former Miami Dolphin. He signs with the Giants, 3 years, $45 million. So Giants shoring up their defensive backfield with that Holland signing.
Yeah. Yeah, there have been some one name. I'm just going to bring it to you. I did not expect to see this name, and honestly, I'd lost track of him the last couple of years. Braxton Berrios, I believe, signed with the Texans.
Yep.
And you know what? I think that could be a good move. I had kind of forgot that he was around, but when healthy, he showed some flashes, and we saw what happened at their wide receiver position last year. They had too many injuries and just couldn't overcome it. He could be a nice surprise signing. So I don't know. The free agency has been very entertaining so far. Lots of trades, lots of surprising trades. I will call out the Seahawk fans on social media that are acting like DK Metcalf was some scrub now that he's gone. I wish he would have signed an extension and stayed in Seattle. But I get it. It's cool on social media to act like the guy always stunk and you never cared about him anyway. But it will be interesting to see how the Steelers coexist next year. That's quite a wide receiver room. DK is fiery, to say the least, and to say nothing of George Pickens. Talented, but George Pickens talks a little too much for my liking.
Just a skosh. Just a skosh. And Aaron Rodgers has been linked to the Giants, has been also linked to the Steelers. I'm praying to God it does not wind up with the Vikings, because that's what everybody wants.
Yeah.
Everybody wants Aaron Rodgers to go to the Vikings because it completes the meme and LOL at Jets.
Yeah, but also, like, okay, you look at the Vikings pieces. If, and this is a big if Aaron Rodgers. What do you mean by at the Vikings pieces? What? Gemini coming in. I hope that came through. I hope that came through.
Also, I heard was Aaron Rodgers. Like, who's talking?
Oh man,
Alexa, did Alexa have a? Did Alexa get is Alexa now Alex?
No. Oh man, Gemini coming on at the worst times. I didn't ask it anything. I don't know why it opened. But Aaron Rodgers, if you look at those pieces, I think a lot of people are saying, oh, well, he could do it behind this offense. You know, this offense, the pieces that they have, and he and Aaron Jones were teammates at one time, blah, blah, blah. And, he would get to play the Packers twice a year. He'd love that, or 3 times a year, whatever it is. But you know better than anything, Ryan, you know better than anyone. I just don't think Aaron Rodgers has it left anymore. Health was not an issue for him last year. He made it through the season by a football player's standards. He made it through the season relatively unscathed, and he just didn't have it.
I mean, yes and no. Because I will say this: he got beat up in the Broncos game, and it showed against the Vikings in London.
Mm-hmm.
He just for some reason didn't have it, and it takes a while. And also, with athletes, it's going to take a while to get used to running again after you've had an Achilles injury. I mean, ask Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
He'll tell you the same thing. It's going to take him a while to get his body comfortable to the game speed and mobility issues. But yeah, I just don't want the meme to be completed.
And I've said it before. I just don't see what the market. I don't think, because there's a lot of smoke to the Steelers fire, I guess. But I just don't see he and Mike Tomlin coexisting, because I don't think Pittsburgh is going to hand the reins to the degree that the Jets did, because they don't have the same ownership. Also, Tomlin, love him or hate him, he's a no-nonsense coach. He's not going to put up with certain things. And then the Giants, are you insane? That offensive line is going to get somebody in the hospital. Like, Aaron Rodgers needs protection at this state of his career, whether you think he still has something left or you don't. I think we can all agree on that. He needs protection. And you just now, I know Kirk Cousins had a horrible season last year. I know that it was so bad, and the Falcons straight up released him, if I remember correctly. So, but here's the thing. Kirk Cousins knows Kevin O'Connell's scheme. Kirk Cousins knows Minnesota. Kirk Cousins had a lot of those people that are on that team as teammates not too long ago. And Kirk Cousins, slightly younger than Aaron Rodgers. Would you run it back with old 2 Chainz one more time?
Somebody's gonna.
Yeah.
as long as his contract's not doesn't have a ridiculously absurd guarantee number like he got in Minnesota. He got all $90 million guaranteed. He got a large amount of money guaranteed with the Falcons. And actually, let me look up that contract right now.
He likes that.
On Spot Track. You like that? You like that?
I'm sorry, Kirk. You're never living that down. I became a big fan of you during Netflix, the quarterback series. But
$100 million guaranteed. I would want his agent.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I would even. Hey, whoever's listening out there, you want me to come in to play quarterback? I will take $10 million guaranteed. Now, I can't guarantee what I'm going to give you, but I'm a relative discount. Come on now.
Here's the question for you. Here's a what if. Actually, it's more of a would you rather.
Okay.
Would you rather be paid $100,000 to hold a clipboard on the sidelines of an NFL team, or if you go into the game and you complete one touchdown, you get $10 million guaranteed?
Oh, man. All right. I'm going to take the chance and I'm going to go into the game. But I know that the odds of me completing a touchdown pass, not great. But here's the thing. If I'm holding a clipboard and I'm getting 100,000, like there's a chance I might still have to go in. Like some catastrophic injury could happen and then I got to go in. And then I'll be effed because I'm not doing any of the preparation. I'll be in trouble. I'll be having people looking worse than if Big Jim Sorgi went in there backing up Peyton Manning back in the day, or Curtis Painter. Jim Sorgi was better than Curtis Painter, so I should start using Curtis Painter for that analogy. Sorry, Jim. We know you're a big fan. You're watching the show. Enter the OV Goal Watch 2025, please.
Yes, please. All right, we're going to take our network mandate commercial break. We've got over 50 minutes of talking NFL. So we got to take a break. But when we come back, we'll talk about the New York Yankees, and we'll talk about our favorite athletes to wear the number 18. Stay tuned. Stand by for more. No credentials required.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at righteousfelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
Right, the lovely voice of Brent Radlinsky from the 1420 Sports Bar podcast, telling all you lovely folks out there about Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. It's some really good jerky, folks. When I was at Hanford the other day, I walked by trying to get to where I need to go and get my stuff. Guess what I see in the impulse buy?
Oh, nice.
I see Righteous Felon Craft Jerky, little pouch.
There it is.
You don't want to buy them at your convenience store. You don't want to buy them at your local grocery store. You want to buy directly from the source. And that source is righteousfelon.com, because you can stock up your basket with some outstanding craft jerky. It's got all sorts of flavors. I'm a big fan of the OG Hickory. I'm also a big fan of the Soul Survivor, the Teriyaki Balboa. Some of my favorite flavors. I'm sure Dustin can attest to some of his favorite flavors as well.
Oh, yeah.
Not only got the beef jerky, you also got turkey jerky, which tastes like a Thanksgiving dinner. It's not just you won't be disappointed. But it's not just the beef jerky. It's not just turkey jerky. We've also got air dried, African inspired biltong. So it's air dried, old school, like you would see in Africa. You've also got beef sticks, which are 100% beef, or in the case of the street taco flavor, 100% pork. And it's not like some of those other beef stick brands in the convenience store that you might see, where their primary ingredient is pulverized chicken.
Yeah, we're looking at you, Rim Flim.
You don't want to snap into that.
No. The Macho Man would not abide by this. If he were around today, he'd be a righteous felon person. We know this. And Ryan hit the nail on the head. My favorite flavor of the beef stick so far is the street taco. Now, I love the OG Hickory too, and I've had the Habanero Escobar beef stick and the jerky form. I like them both. But the street taco, if you haven't tried it, get out there and try it. There's a couple other flavors I want to try now, and I got to get some more jerky. And also, in like a week or so, I'm going to be watching my dog nephew, and I will have snacks for him because
Ooh.
because Righteous Spelling offers the Ranger dog treats. Do you have a furry friend? Then get them some nice all-natural dog treats and use the promo code BELLYUP to get 15% off. And if your order is over 50, you get free shipping. So you get to save twice. The savings are twice as nice. Order directly from righteousspelling.com.
That's right. And it's $50 off. You get $50 of stuff in your cart. You get free shipping. It's free and fast shipping. So for me, and where I live and where Dustin lives in our part of the country, this is coming from Pennsylvania. We get ours in a matter of days. We get like 2 days. A matter of 2 days, 2 maybe 3 days tops. And even Dustin said during Christmas season, he ordered late. He thought it wouldn't be there for Christmas. Guess what? It was at his door.
It got there. It got there just in time for the Christmas Eve celebration. It was perfect timing.
That's right. So righteousfelon.com, promo code BELLYUP at checkout. You get 15% off your order, and you get free and fast shipping with every order of $50 or more. Combine and save. And as always, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. You get the no credentials required seal of approval. Just good puppers. I'm sure you would enjoy some Righteous Felon Craft Jerky.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they make some fish jerky.
Maybe they do. Maybe they do. I don't know if I'd be adventurous enough to try it, but maybe they do.
I'm gonna try it once. Gotta try everything at least once.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right, let's talk about the New York Yankees.
New York Yankees?
The New York Yankees!
Ruth, Gehrig, DiMaggio, Mantle, Costanza.
I love that clip.
We got some news breaking over the wire over the last couple of days. Gerrit Cole, it was revealed that he was recommended to have Tommy John surgery. He sought a second opinion, which everybody should do.
Yeah.
If you've been given some inauspicious news, but it is confirmed. Yankees announced that Gerrit Cole, he will have Tommy John surgery, and he will miss the 2025 season.
Yeah.
And we got to talk about some of the ramifications it has on their pitching staff. Right now, it's early in spring training. They're just dealing with some injuries. Luis Gill, he's out with an injury as well. Clark Schmidt, we know about his back issues. The only one I could probably see fill in that ace role immediately for Gerrit Cole is Max Fried, and I think he's going to have to carry that load. He wasn't brought in to fill in as the ace. He showed ace ability when he was a member of the Braves, but now that Gerrit Cole is indeed out for the season and beyond, it seems Max Fried will have to fill that role.
Yeah. And if you saw his update that he posted to social media after the news came out, you could see how much that this hurts him as well. He was a Yankee fan. He is a Yankee fan. He said it was his dream to bring the Yankees a World Series title. He says he's still committed to doing so. But the problem is, as Ryan alluded to, not only is he going to miss 2025, his recovery is going to go into the 2026 season as well. And by the time
Tommy John surgery does, yes.
Yeah. And by the time he recovers from this, he will be 35, which that's getting up there for a pitcher now, and I think now I was very happy about the Farid signing and the reports have been amazing coming out of spring training so far. But as far as the rest of their pitching staff, I mean, after that, it's Carlos Rondon. And the thing that this Cole injury really does is it ensures, for better or worse, Marcus Stroman has a job now, because he had a role on this team, but now he becomes probably, I mean, I'm no expert, but he probably becomes your fourth starter now because Cole's out and it kind of pushes everybody else down. It kind of moves everybody else around. But Cole was your ace. Pending what Max Fried does, Cole doesn't change the fact that he was the ace of this staff. That was his expectation. That was his role. And now with that vacated, we're hoping Max Fried can step into the role. But I just dislike this so much to start the season because you know me, Ryan. I'm always worried about the Yankees pitching, and all this does is foster my fears. And there are some rumblings that if more injuries happen or somebody doesn't recover in time, there's a possibility that they could turn to Carlos Carrasco for a couple weeks to start the season. And I mean, who knows what's going to happen with that? I am rooting for Carlos Carrasco, but you just don't know what he has at this point.
So there's been some names that have been kind of popping out there for the Yankees to replace Cole for the season for 2025. Sandy Alcantara of Miami, he's a name that's linked to the Yankees. Dylan Cease, who once upon a time was a trade target for the New York Yankees. He's currently with the Padres.
Yeah, but I don't think the Padres unload him.
I don't think they would unload him unless they come up with a Juan Soto type deal like they had a couple of years ago. There's also possible talks of, not talks, but I was reading, just skimming an article on Sportsnot that they could explore a reunion with Michael King, who was actually a part of that Juan Soto trade. But we got to see what kind of we got to see what kind of moves that Brian Cashman will make. He's known for making these type of deals where he just says, all right, what we got available. Because right now, I believe Will Warren, who filled in the rotation last year after Clark Schmidt had some back issues, he might be projected as an opening day starter. So right now, your rotation is going to look like this, and this is 40% of your starting rotation is now injured. One's gone for the year into 2026, and Luis Gil, he's out for some time. So right now you've got Max Fried, Carlos Carrasco, you said?
Well, Carlos Rondon.
Carlos Rondon.
Yeah.
Okay, so Carlos Rondon, you got two lefties. That's lefties right there. Clark Schmidt, Will Warren.
Yeah.
And you got to figure
Marcus Stroman is in the
mix.
Marcus Stroman
is in the mix as well. Then you probably bring in a sixth as an opener, not so much a starter, but an opener. Very, very Tampa Bay Rays-ish type of deal. So maybe you bring back a Michael King. Maybe you get Sandy Alcantara for Miami for some prospects. Maybe Will Warren's part of that trade package. We don't know. The future remains unseen right now because it's still spring training. We can still got spring training for them in a couple of weeks, and then the Yankees home opener is 2 weeks from Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, this is heartbreaking. I mean, granted, put it in perspective, okay? You hate to throw words around like that, but you just feel terrible for Gerrit Cole. You know how much it meant to him. And this is tough news. This is tough news to start the year. I don't want to be overly dramatic, but it just stinks. You're hoping to emerge from spring training with most of your weapons intact. And we lost a big one before the season even started. So
yeah, but considering last year, the Yankees went a couple months before Gerrit Cole came into the lineup.
They did, yep.
With his nerve problems, they did okay.
Mm-hmm.
They did okay. They survived April and May and came back in June, and he did his usual thing. They were in a dogfight with the Orioles for a bit, but they wound up being the AL East champions. They won the pennant. Had some bad things happen in the World Series, but that's ancient history. It's ancient history.
Yes, we're wiping the slate clean here.
Yes, every opening day is a clean slate, and we got one coming up 2 weeks from Thursday. So, Gerrit Cole injury. I think things will be okay. Like you said, Dustin, we're kind of overreacting right now. Where a lot of Yankee fans are doom and gloom. Some are ready to jump from the ledge. But I'm here to talk them down. I'm here to talk them down, saying, "Listen, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
We still got talented players in the lineup. We got some talented hitters. We got some talented pitching. Our bullpen is solid. We'll be okay.
All right. All right. Well, I appreciate that. And also, we just might have some further developments regarding baseball coverage here for the
Yes.
spring summer. We won't reveal those right now, but we have some plans in the hopper because we know some of you that watch and listen, you follow other teams other than the New York Yankees. Now you're still going to hear a lot of New York Yankees talks on the show because Ryan and I are Yankee fans, and we watch a lot of Yankee games, and I don't get to see as many games anymore because Verizon, in their infinite wisdom, removed MLB Network from my package. So, you know, it's going to be a lot of Yankee talk.
How's your package feel about that?
It recovered. It recovered. I should have said cable package. I knew I left it right on the tee there for you. It's not as painful as some operations you can get, but it's up there.
Right down the fairway.
Yeah.
All right. Actually, before we get to our athletes who were our favorite athletes to wear the number 18, Dustin, I have some breaking news.
Ooh, all right.
Where's that bumper? Come on, where are you?
Bumper cars.
Come on, breaking news. Come on. Darn it.
The breaking news is being stubborn.
The breaking news is currently on hold. There it is. Like Saturday's breaking news, which was sad and unfortunate.
Yes.
The Mrs. Fields cookie, finally won a race at the Prudential Center at the New Jersey Devils race.
The long
Mrs.
national
Fields cookie finally beat the Welsh Farms ice cream cone and Auntie Anne's pretzel. Finally, the streak is over. Mrs. Fields cookie, you are a winner.
Man, you know, in the halls of lore from when you're a little kid, you're always kind of hoping that Mrs. Fields and Mr. Otis Spunkmeyer would get married and make the superior cookie to rule them all, much like the One Ring for Sauron. That might be a very regional reference. I don't know. I don't know how many people know Otis Spunkmeyer cookies, but a lot of people know Mrs. Fields. So.
I mean, if you do fundraisers, you know who Otis Spunkmeyer is.
Yeah. Well, and also my high school, that's what they had them. They had them for dessert. You know, yep. Between classes, I was getting me an Otis Spunkmeyer cookie for sure.
Oh, Otis makes a good cookie, my friend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. All right. Now we can reveal our favorite athletes to wear the number 18. This is the 18th episode of the 2025 recording season. And we revealed our favorite athletes to wear numbers 1 through 17. And tonight is number 18. We're going to keep this going through the end of the year. So without further ado, Dustin, please reveal your favorite athlete to wear the number 18.
Man, 18, this one I had to go deep into the well because I'm sitting there and I'm going, the only 18 I can really think of is Peyton Manning, and I'm not picking Peyton Manning. No offense, Peyton, but like I enjoyed watching you play quarterback, but I didn't have like you weren't one of my players' favorite that I remember from my youth. And then Ryan, as I was researching for this, because sometimes you got to research when something doesn't come right to your head, you got to do a little research. I remembered a name from my youth. He pitched from the time that I was about 2 years old. He came into the majors. Maybe let's see. He broke in when I was 1 year old, I guess. He was drafted before I was even born, and he pitched all the way up until after I graduated high school. I was still in college when this guy pitched his final game in Major League Baseball. I'm talking about one Brett Saberhagen.
Ooh,
is it possibly because I loved his last name when I was a kid, and also because I was a fan of Sabretooth from the X-Men, and Saberhagen, Sabretooth, not that far apart? Partially partially, but I always thought Brett Saberhagen, partially because of the last name, is very cool. But the thing is, Brett Saberhagen, he pitched from 1984, I believe. I'm doing this off the top of my dome. He was drafted in 1982, but he pitched, I think he first broke in with the Royals in 1984. He pitched his last game with the Boston Red Sox in 2004. And you might say, Brett Saberhagen, really? I'm going to tell you, Brett Saberhagen, he was a 3-time Cy Young Award winner, okay? And he also, I believe, had an MVP awarded to him. So Brett Saberhagen, no scrub. He was... I just loved his last name, and I always liked to be in Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest. I liked to be, I think back at then I always liked to take a team that was bad, and I like to put my own players on them and make them good. And at the time, the Devil Rays were as bad as anybody. Sorry, but they were. And I would always I'd always put Brett Saberhagen like in the bullpen just because I wanted him on my team because of his name. Brett Saberhagen, my favorite 18. There you go. With that, Ryan,
Yes.
I pass it to you. But first, do you have any memories of Brett Saberhagen? He pitched a long time.
I remember him from his 1985 run where he helped the Kansas City Royals go to the World Series and win in 7 games. And what is in modern times the lowest scoring World Series.
Oh,
in the modern era, in the expansion era, it was the lowest scoring World Series. Like I think both teams averaged less than 3 runs per game.
Oh man! Wow.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look it up because it's so the stats from that series were just unreal. And he won World Series MVP.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it was a World Series MVP. I was thinking of.
Although you would argue that if you're from St. Louis, that Don Denkinger won the World Series MVP that year from his controversial call in Game 6. That is a name that will never, ever be mentioned in St. Louis unless you spit on the ground. But this was the scoring cap from the World Series, and I'm just looking at that World Series. Game 1, final score 3-1 St. Louis. Game 2, St. Louis 4-2. Game 3, Kansas City 6-1. Game 4, St. Louis 3-0. Game 5, Kansas City 6-1. Game 6, 2-1 Kansas City, and then Game 7, 11-0.
Oh, wow.
St. Louis scored 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, 1, and 0 runs in 7 games.
Oh man.
It was one of the lowest scoring World Series for one team in the modern era. It was awful. Awful. This was a Waddy Herzog team that had Vince. They had, was it Willie McGee and Vince Coleman and Jack Clark. So and you couldn't score more than 2 runs a game. Ridiculous. But yeah, I remember Saberhagen from the 1985 World Series. I remember him getting either signing or being traded to the Mets.
Yes, he was on the Mets
in 1992.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got involved in an unfortunate incident where he sprayed bleach in a water gun and blinded somebody. I can't.
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that. I didn't know about that. I might have to go back to the drawing board on my favorite 18.
I'm looking. I'm just making sure I got my my thing right here because he wasn't exactly the most. Oh yeah, he sprayed bleach into a group of reporters.
Oh,
Said it was water, but he admitted he admitted he did wrong, and he donated 1 day's pay to charity and apologized to fans and the media. That was back in 1993.
All right. Well,
You don't do that. You
No-
don't do that. But he did.
no.
He did. He did all right afterwards. We actually helped Colorado to a wild card in 1995. So
Yeah.
not bad.
And he was dealing in 1994. He had a good year if memory serves. But
Yep, 1994, 14-4 with a 2.74 ERA. And how many strikeouts? Man, this website is just.
it's tough. It's tough to navigate. But
Well, he had 11-0. He had 7.3 strikeouts per 9 innings. So
all right,
not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
All right, I wasn't sure before the show. You revealed your number 18 was going to be a baseball player. And I was thinking to myself, please don't pick this player. Please.
I know.
Player. And I didn't know you were going with it, but you surprised me with Brett Saberhagen, who did wear number 18 with the Kansas City Royals.
Yes.
And the New York Mets. So good on you there. You surprised me. I was like, yes, thank God he didn't go with the player I wanted.
All right.
The player I'm picking, Darryl Strawberry.
Oh, yeah. I thought about the straw. For sure. But,
Yeah, Darryl Strawberry. If you're a guy who follows baseball and you think of maybe the 3 or 4 great, best, smoothest swings in baseball history, the names that come to mind are Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Bonds, Don Mattingly, and Darryl Strawberry. With that silky smooth motion, and when you looked at him going onto the field, you didn't think he would generate power. But once he got to the plate, and in the 1980s, when he got going, he would get going.
Oh, yeah.
And 39 home runs in 1988. 39 home runs in 1988 and 1987. 27 in 1986 in that year that the New York Mets went to the World Series. Signs with the Dodgers, says to the Wilpons and the Doubledays, saying, I'm out of here. I hate Davey Johnson. I'm out of here. Goes to the Dodgers. Actually played for the San Francisco Giants in 1994.
Oh, I had forgotten about that.
He only played in 29 games that season, but then winds up signing with the Yankees and begins sort of a career renaissance under Joe Torre in 1995. 1996, he didn't play that much. Played 63 games, but still had 11 home runs. 1998 was his best season as a Yankee. 24 home runs, 57 RBIs in 101 games, 46 walks, 247 batting average. He only played 24 games in 1999, but still contributed to the team, and was played for 3 of the 4 World Series teams in the 1990s and early 2000s. Called it a career after the 1999 season. If he hadn't run into all that trouble with the law, with the drug use and the domestic abuse, he turned his life around after in the 90s. He would have been probably the greatest right fielder, power hitting right fielder, probably ever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to argue with you there, Ryan. And there was something about Strawberry. Even as a kid, I knew this guy has all-world talent. And my dad followed baseball very closely when I was a kid and growing up. My dad loved baseball, and he's the reason I'm a Yankee fan. He loved the Yankees. His favorite player is Mantle, but even my dad would always say, "Oh, Strawberry, so talented," he would say. And so as a kid, Darryl was always somebody that you rooted for to turn it around, because you knew that if he could do it, he had the talent to be one of the greats. And the 98 run is the run that I remember, because I remember thinking to myself, he's got it. Strawberry's finally got it. He's figured it out, you know.
And when I was playing baseball, I was starting to learn how to play baseball, and when we moved to New York, and I was hitting baseballs in the backyard with my dad. My dad would throw it to me and I'd hit it. I'd always pick my leg up, my front leg. I'd always pick it up. And my dad says, "Why are you moving your front leg? Why are you moving your front leg like that?" The reason why I moved my front leg like that, and I still do it to this day when I'm batting, whether I'm playing softball or I'm just taking batting or I'm just hitting balls in the cage, Darryl Strawberry, because that's what he did. That's how he generated power, because he would pick his leg up, move all his power to his back foot, and then swung through, and it would be out of the park or be a base hit. And his batting style had an influence on my batting style. And I'm pretty sure a lot of kids growing up between the Straw and Frank Thomas, Ken Griffey Jr., like all those guys had the same kind of style where they would pick their front leg up and swing through and the ball will be gone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it just, that was the style for a while. That was the way that you were supposed to hit. And you know, but yeah, Strawberry, he was big too. He was big. People forget how big of a star he was. He and Dwight Gooden, those early 80s Mets teams, you know, they really, when they were teammates together and they had that run with the Mets, and Mets fans still remember that. And then he was on The Simpsons, man. He was on The Simpsons, and he almost got, Bart and Lisa.
I think gigantism.
Yes. And Homer had to go in there. But you know, is a good. I'm glad you're glad it brings a smile to your face, at least when you hear that Darryl was finally able to turn things around.
Actually, no, it wasn't Darryl Strawberry who got gigantism. Darryl Strawberry was on the roster. He was the last guy not to have misfortunes happen to him, because
was it Griffey that got gigantism?
Griffey got gigantism. Yeah. So Griffey got gigantism. Mike Scioscia got radiation virus.
Yeah, that's how old the episode is.
Yeah. Don Manley got kicked off the team because of his sideburns.
Yeah.
Wade Boggs fought with Homer. Ozzie Smith fell into that
other dimension. Yeah, Wade Boggs and Barney.
So according to Simpsons Wiki, Steve Sachs pulled over by Eddie and Lou. Sachs tries to be friendly, but Eddie and Lou read that he's from New York City and think that he caused a number of bad things. He faces 6 consecutive life sentence. Mike Scioscia had to do his job and run the solid contaminant encapsulator, but comes down with acute radiation poisoning. Ken Griffey Jr. comes down with gigantism after drinking too much Nerve tonic. Jose Canseco comes across a house fire, rushes in to save a woman's baby. The woman is grateful and sends him in to save her cat, then her favorite player piano, and in the washer. Saving all those objects takes a lot of time, and Canseco doesn't make the game. Wade Boggs gets into an argument with Barney over British Prime Minister. The greatest English Prime Minister. Yeah. Boggs argued for Pitt the Elder, while Barney argues Lord Palmerston. Yeah. In the end, Barney knocks Boggs out. Yep. Ozzie Smith visits the Springfield mystery spot and disappears. I remember the scene of him just spinning around going, ah! Yeah. All of a sudden you see some flow by. Ooh, take a picture of it. Ah! Roger Clemens thinks he's a chicken because of the hypnotist. And then Don Mattingly thrown off the team because Mr. Burns believes he has sideburns. Yeah. Burns continually hassles Mattingly until he decides to shave his head. This is still not good enough, and he's thrown off the team. And Darryl Strawberry is the lone survivor of those
Yeah.
Major League Baseball players to play for the Springfield Nuclear Power Plant softball team.
That's a great episode.
That's a great episode.
One of my favorite parts is when Burns tries to show them how to take a bunt, and they throw the pitch, and he goes to take the bunt, and he flies to the backstop. There's a bunch of stupid stuff in there. Burns tries to assemble this great roster of baseball players, and they're all dead. He's like Mordecai 3-Finger Brown. And Smithers is like,
sorry, sir, they're all dead. They're
Yeah.
all deceased.
Yeah. That's a classic.
So I promised at the top of the show I'd tell you my story of why we're recording at 7:15. So I'm going to a wedding in Atlanta, so there'll probably be no show on the first Saturday of April unless I teach Dustin how to do the StreamYard thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get some suits because of my weight loss. I had to get some suits
Modified,
altered.
right?
Altered.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I got told I got to take them to get dry cleaned first. So I could get them dry cleaned. They're finished today. Take them down to Men's Warehouse. And I said, "Yeah, I was here a couple weeks ago. You told me to get my suits dry cleaned so I can get them altered." So I go into the change. He says, "All right, let's go to the back and see if you need how much altering you need." So I put on my black suit first.
Did he
My
just
black
sell
suit-
you a new suit?
No. So I put on my black suit. The pants won't stay on, of course, but the jacket still fits.
Okay.
Although it's a little big on the side, so they'd have to probably trim it down.
Yeah, taper them in.
Then I didn't even bother putting on my gray suit because I knew the pants would fall down. But I put on my gray jacket, and it's huge. It's the cut's not right, and it's just gigantic. He says, it would probably cost more to alter these suits than it would be to just buy new suits.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. So I didn't buy a new suit. What I wound up doing was I said, you know what? I'll let my dad try these on. If it fits him, great. He's got 2 new suits. If it doesn't, I'm going to send him to see mission and have one of the residents have them, because if I can't use them, somebody can.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Smooth saying, lads, I'm late to the party, but I shall spread chaos, anarchy, and joy. Well, at least you're spreading joy.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw the breaking news, Mr. Smooth, but Mrs. Fields won finally.
Well, and I hope you're enjoying the show with some craisins and goldfish. Yes, that's right. I am going to keep it going, Mr. Smooth. I am.
Craisins and goldfish. Good Lord. All right, we're going to get ourselves out of here. Just want to remind you before we get out of here to follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. And also check out all of our other podcasts like Time to BS with Sam Smooth and other written articles on bellyupsports.com. Subscribe to the podcast where you can find podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, and Pandora. And also, don't forget to hit notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you're notified of when the show goes live or when there's announcements or when there's shorts. And I'm Mr. Smooth saying, to quote Smoot Dogg, who? And he says, "You suck, Dustin." Where'd that come from? That's my co-host.
It's because I kept the craisins and goldfish going. I told him. Oh man.
Crazy.
Oh man. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to judge you. And
wait, is it raisins? Is it raisins or is it craisins? Like raisins,
it's
Sunday
craisin-
raisins, or
it's
is it craisins?
I think.
I thought it was raisins, straight up raisins, but
yeah, I don't know.
If it's craisins, I'm like, wow, you're in a tract health must be outstanding.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to double check. Maybe he can update you on 3 Rails or update me on Seahawks.
Yeah,
sessions.
I'm gonna talk to the guys about 3 Rails, but we'll come down the road. But in the meantime,
all right,
we're gonna get out of here. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass Talk Sports. We're presented by Belly Up Sports. By Belly Up Sports, I almost said in association with Godzilla Media, but not right now. And presented by Belly Up Sports. We'll be back Saturday morning. We'll be talking about parts 3 and 4 of the Pete Rose documentary that was on HBO in July. We meant to talk about it tonight, but there was so much NFL news we had to fit it into this program first. So we'll talk about the Pete Rose documentary as well as additional NFL signings on Saturday and our favorite athlete to wear the number 19. So you don't want to miss out on that. So in the meantime, we're going to get out of here. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. See you on Saturday morning for the Saturday brunch edition of No Credentials Required. Until then, have a great night.
You have extra time now to watch the documentary, so catch up with us. And also, good night, everybody.